Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Thank you for staying with us. Nigeria is in the midst of a severe food crisis as the prices of food have skyrocketed by over 250% within the past year. This has made essential items like beans, yam and plantain unaffordable for a significant portion of the population. In response to this crisis, President Tinubu has declared a state of emergency and initiated several programs aimed at alleviating the situation. These programs include the distribution of fertilizers and grains to farmers, enhancing security in agricultural areas, and promoting practices that allow for year-round farming, among others. Nonetheless, the situation remains dire, with millions of Nigerians facing food insecurity. This has sparked discussions of the efficacy of the government's interventions, the impact of insecurity on food production, and the necessity for sustainable agricultural practices that can withstand environmental pressures. Well, joining us now to discuss this is Jide, public affairs commentator. Because we are running out of time, let's just go straight into it. President Tinubu, of course, recently declared that state of emergency. And in his speech today, he even made insinuations to what his current administration is currently doing to curb this. When we look at how effective these interventions have, whether these interventions have been effective or non-effective so far, what metrics would you use to evaluate its success? And do you even think that we are on the right path?
Thank you very much. I would say we are on the right track. It's just that we need better coordination. Like you are quite spot on that one of the very key first major steps the administration of Tinubu took in June 2023 was to declare state of emergency on food insecurity. That was even before he formed the cabinet. And a lot of initiatives were rolled out at that point, but there was no driver for the process. And what he is now doing at the latter stage is what he should have done from the beginning, which was to seek the cooperation of the states. There was no coordination. The federal was making its own state of emergency, not carrying the state along. We do know that federal government does not own an inch or an acre of land in any part of this country. The lands are vested in the states. And you can hear the president saying this morning in his nationwide broadcast that they are planning about 1 million hectares of cultivation where the federal government will provide the funds and the state will provide the land. So this is what should have been done over 1 year ago that was not done. So at the end of the day, it's like mopping a leaking roof. When you just say, oh, we are doing this, we are doing that, and you didn't carry the subnationals along with you. That is number one gaffe. Number two, there was high level of insecurity, even as of last week in Gwagwalada area of Abuja, or Federal Capital Territory, to be more precise. Kidnappers allegedly are still abducting farmers from their farms and displacing them. And so this insecurity poses a serious challenge because, okay, you have this initiative, you have cleared the lands, you have given tractors, you are giving fertilizer at a discounted rate, but the farmers cannot just access the land. Or where they access the land, they are not secured. Bandits come and demand of them access fees to be able to go to their farms. Those that refuse to pay are picked up and kidnapped, or their families are kidnapped. Those that pay will still have to pay harvest fee when the crops are mature to be harvested. So we need to address that angle of physical security of farmers in their domain. Otherwise, we are still going to, whatever initiatives the federal government and state governments is doing, will still amount to just mopping a leaking roof or just trying to treat leprosy with medicine for ringworm. So there is need for better coordination. There is need for And then let me quickly speak to the importation of food items. Yes, government has removed import duty on certain grains, wheat, rice, and maybe millet, and a couple of others. But what about the activities of the middlemen? The activities of middlemen who would buy in bulk, store, and then sell at a very high amount of money. I recall that in the Southwest, a couple of traditional rulers, Owa Obokun of Ijesha land and the Oni of Ife, had to ban all these middlemen from their exploitative activities. There are middlemen who will go and buy farms, buy crops that are yet to mature. They will just buy it at a very rock bottom price, and then when the crops are ready for harvest, they will take responsibility for transporting it to market and sell it at a very exorbitant price. So this is another gap that needed to be filled. How do you deal with the activities of these middlemen to make sure that you regulate them in such a way that even when government gives support, gives even the discounted rice of 50 kg that is going to be sold at 40,000, you'll be surprised that some people will buy many bags for that 40,000 and go and resell for 100,000 in the neighborhood market. So how do you regulate activities of this kind of people? Then the issue, another elephant in the room is transportation. Many of the farms where you have the farmlands are in the hard-to-reach environment. Okay. They are not easily accessible. The roads leading to these farms are not motorable. So what do you do? How do you assess? We have been hearing of fixing of rural roads. These are just something that local government, if they are functional, should have been able to take up that responsibility by making sure that trunk C roads are motorable. But many of the trunk C roads are not motorable, and farms are not in the urban centers, they are in the rural communities. Right. So how do you ensure that you have motorable roads to be able to bring this food to markets in a very cheap, at a cheap amount of money?
Right. So you have raised very valid concerns when it comes to food production. I believe the president there in his speech also highlighted the fact that, he's meeting with state governors to find ways to, improve food productions. But you're absolutely right. The issue of security as well as transportation is very critical in with our food crisis. Would like to thank you very much indeed for joining us on the morning show this morning. Thank you very much.